All right. Hello, guys. It is January 17th. Crazy. Every time I see the date, I'm like, wow, already. Okay. We have Caitlin Gordon on today. She is going to talk about ongoing challenge groups, which I think is like a hot topic because so many coaches start and end a new group every single month, and everyone thinks about doing an ongoing group. The thought of it is a little intimidating. The logistics kind of intimidate you, and I asked Caitlin what she wanted to talk about, and she's like, well, I could do ongoing groups. I could do this. I could do that. I'm like, say no more. Why don't you do ongoing groups? Like, I think everybody would be interested in hearing how you do that. I've personally tried it last year, but I gave it like this much effort and it wasn't very successful. So I cannot wait to hear from you today. I will mute myself and let you take it away, and then I'll keep an eye on the chat and we can discuss those afterwards.
All right, perfect. Okay, hi guys. So just a little bit of backstory on me. My degree is actually in nursing. So I'm a registered nurse and I did that until we had children. I've taught group fitness without being certified since college, because in college they just really want people to teach, but they don't require you in those gyms to get certified. So I was like an unofficial group fitness instructor and have just always been active. So when my boys were 3 and 18 months old, I really missed using my brain, and I needed to find a way to work out. So I found the only gym in town that had free childcare, and I started just going to group fitness classes, and then just kind of got noticed for knowing what I was doing. And so then I started teaching, and then I was like, you know what, I should just get certified. So I became a group fitness instructor, and then I went back to school for a year and became a personal trainer. And so I did that. And then I started looking for ways to go online because I realized everybody wanted to work out at 6 a.m. and 6 p.m., which is still the opposite of what I wanted to do with kids at home. And I even had a studio at home, but I was putting the kids in front of the TV real quick to go do a session, and it didn't feel right. So I looked for tons of things, got approached by Beachbody 4 times, and 4 different people, and was like, no, like I know how to train. I don't need help with that. And so then finally got approached by someone who was legitimate in the fitness field and was like, okay, I'll take a look at this. I'm not drinking Shakeology, but I will teach, and I will do programs. And she just said, do 30 days of Shakeology, do due diligence, research it as much as you can. And so I did, and I still do. And so as like a nurse and a trainer, it's the only thing I've ever told people to drink. It's a whole different topic. But so now I'm on the bandwagon for everything. And then in 2017, my sponsor ended up leaving. And so last year was like I started over from scratch year. So in February, it'll technically be 3 years, but last year was kind of like a fresh start for me. So that's me in a nutshell. So I have done all different types of groups. My sponsor, when I came in, just it was like sink or swim, start a group. So I had never been in a challenge group. And so I just figured I would do it like I would do a group training session. And so I tried like 7 days and 14 days and 21 days and 30 days, tried the gamut of things. And I realized throughout the month, it was hard for me to create this like constant interest in groups and have nowhere to put people and be like, well, I don't start for 3 weeks. Like it just didn't feel right to me. And maybe that was also like as a trainer, because I'm used to being able to get people in right away. And just based on who my tribe is, like they need more continuous support than 10 days. Also, it felt weird to me to be like, here's your 21-day program that I think fits you best, but I'm only going to help you for 14. Like in my mind, it just didn't work. So I decided, after doing 30-day groups for a long time, which sometimes would give me like 2 days off, like it still just felt really disjointed. And so I was like, all right, guys, this is just our fit family. This is our online fit family. This goes right now through December 2018. And so we're just in it every day. Each month it changes though, because then I was like, well, how am I going to keep this fresh? Like if people are just in it. So every month we have a new theme, just like as if I was starting a new challenge group. And I do all different things. So I did I love the 80s challenge group. I have done confidence-based ones. Right now they're doing mind over matter, and next February is going to be give January a break, because so many people tried in January and failed that I want them to know that it's okay to start in February. So we're talking about how it's okay to not have met all your goals in January and to just give January a little bit of a break. There's a whole lot of pressure on January. So that's where we do that. So challengers and we work together to pick the best program for them. I don't do like set program ones, except I am running a separate 80-day obsession challenge for the whole 80 days because I wanted that to be more intense and focused. So sometimes I will do that if I need a group that I feel needs like super focus and intensity. And that way, when I start new themes on Monday and when I add people on Mondays, I can start really fresh with them. Like I do an intro video on the first Monday again, just to say like, hey, if you've been in this for a while, you know what you're doing, new challengers, this is how you do this. And it's a good refresher and reminder to those who have kind of slipped off a little bit about what the expectations are. I've found that my challengers have connected with each other more. And for those of you who teach group fitness, like, you know, you have your like regulars in your class and they get to be like buddies while they're in their class. So that's kind of how it is in my challenge group. And it's the same kind of thing. Like when I was doing 14 days and then 14 days off, it's like when you had a substitute teacher, when you have your favorite group fitness class, and then you're like, ah. So like they just needed to see my face every day, which is fine because I'm working out every day anyway. So it's not that hard for me to post my workout and my shake. It was also when at the time we were selling the $160 challenge pack. So it was hard for me to sell that, say you get a year of fitness and then be like, but I'm just going to help you for 14 days. Like it just, again, with the trainer mindset, maybe that didn't work for me. Not to say that it can't work because there are people who rock that, but I was like, it just felt really disjointed. So I tell them they get a year of fitness and I give them a year of fitness. So that's kind of how that works. A little bit about my tribe, because that's really why this works for me. It's women who are like 30 to 45 years old and they have school-aged children. They're torn between work and staying home because a lot of them are educated or have a higher certification. And so they miss feeling smart. They miss using their brains. They miss feeling like they're adding something to the community. But at the same time, they know and love being a mom, like understand that what they're doing as a mom is also really important. So that's like a struggle in their brains. They have trouble balancing it all, which I think a lot of people do. There's someone who follows the fitness fads, like they've probably tried paleo and they've probably tried Whole30 and they've probably done Weight Watchers and you name it, they've like done the things. And one of the things we talk about a lot is like, no one tells you that being a stay-at-home mom is going to be lonely. Like you don't get that, wait a second, I'm going to have no adult interaction at all. And I am just sad and I feel guilty about feeling sad. And so that's my tribe. So they just need a lot of support in the beginning to realize and validate that their feelings are okay and they've got to take time for themselves. And then once they grow in that way, they realize that they can pay it forward to other people. So like I was saying, all of my groups, like the theme starts the first Monday of the month. And that way I can build that excitement around the theme. Let's see, they're all themed. Let's see. I post in my child groups, I post every morning and every night. And then I do my workout and my shake. So in the morning, a lot of times I alternate it between like a homework that's mindset related and a homework that's fitness related. And then I do a check-in every night. So I have my own little acronym thing. So ours is what are your wins for the day? So it's water, intention, nutrition, sweat, and shake. So there's 2 S's at the end, but that's just kind of what I came up with that. So they check in with their wins for the day. And if they don't answer, I tag them. So like if they've committed, they commit. That's another thing we do at the beginning of each month. Every month they sign a new commitment contract. And it's not it's a lot like Sarah Morrison's, where it's giving them grace too. Like, I promise that if I didn't do it 100%, I'm going to try better tomorrow. I promise that I'm going to get at least 6 of my workouts in, because we talk a lot about progress over perfection. So I think it's important when you're running these really long-term groups to have them feel that sense of recommitment each month. So they have to fill it out and email me their commitment contract. A lot of times on Sundays, I'll do a little extra video called Ask Your Coach. And that allows people to ask questions. People aren't always so good about texting you or using the like contact your coach button. So that gives them the opportunity to ask questions. And a lot of times it's questions that everybody else had too. So in my 80-day obsession group, people were asking about lunches, because we started prep week, so I did ask your coach on Sunday. But so that's a really great thing. You can even just put a picture of yourself and say like, ask your coach, and then you have a go-to place to be able to answer their questions. And on Sundays, I do a shout out. So everybody who did at least 5 workouts and logged them gets like a workout leader shout out picture. So they like that too. And I don't do scheduled prizes. One, because it's really hard to keep track of, especially when you're looking at the full year ahead. But I think people are also more incentivized when they don't know. They just know they have to give their best effort and there's going to be a random prize. So I'll do that like with a water challenge or a whatever challenge. My Fit Family group right now, this month, every day I'm doing a photo challenge. So they have to do random things. Today it was post your favorite shirt. We've done like, what's your favorite flower? Like, it's just totally random, just things. Show me your water bottle, make sure you have it with you. So the content doesn't have to be like huge and burdensome. And on that too, I would say when you are looking at a group that's this long, use your content resources. So like Theresa put up those 80 days of check-in quotes. And so I put those into my 80-day group, and then I put my own like, copy above it. And I do my wins thing at the end. And same thing, if there's someone who posts a 24-day group or a 21-day group or a 30-day group, and I really like what they did, I'll use that. So like, use the resources that you have. You don't always have to reinvent the wheel for things. Obviously put your own spin on it. And like, if it's a 21-day group, I may need to make 7 more graphics, but that's a lot less, than that. And you can recreate just the same look in Canva. So use what you have. Let's see. So when people are joining, I let people join all month, and they can just jump in on Mondays. That creates the urgency, like you have to order because the next group of people start Monday. And it also allows me to, so when I'm talking to someone and let's say it's January 17th, like it is, based on what their goals are, and if they have a vacation coming up, or, they have a birthday party this weekend, I may say like, hey, I think it would be better for you to start February, or I can put them in this next Monday. So it gives me the ability to meet them where they need to be met. Versus like having them wait 3 weeks or just shoving them in on Monday when they're not really ready yet. So it gives me a little bit more flexibility in how to help people reach their goals. Use content, same twice. Okay. I have notes because I get really excited and I lose my place.
Okay, let me go through the questions so far. So do you run these in Facebook or the tracker?
So I do sneak peeks in Facebook, and then my group is in the tracker.
Okay. And then you change the theme every single month. So do you just edit that particular group, or how do you do that?
So I'll give them a warning like the week before, like, hey, it's our last week of this theme. This is what's coming up. Get excited. What are your goals going to be? We re-talk about what their next program is going to be. So I check in with all of the challengers. I keep my picture the same because it just says Fit Family. And so that's how I talk about it in my social media, is like my virtual Fit Fam, or so I don't need to change the graphics for that. Does that answer that? Okay.
Yes. And then do you remove people out after? So you kind of answered this with they sign a new commitment each month. So those who don't sign the commitment, do you remove them? Or how does that work?
So I don't because they're not going in anyway. Like, I don't feel like they're getting a benefit. Like, if I felt like they were using me and not, then I would have a conversation with them. But the people who aren't engaged just aren't in there. And so I'm not really concerned about it. But I do you can like mass email the participants in there so I can re-engage them for the next month if they're still in the group. Or I can gives me the ability to reach out and say like, hey, I haven't heard from you from a week, because we all know follow-up is the key point. So yeah, I don't take people out because I don't feel like they're doing anything.
Not looking at it anyway, because you can see like has been active 27 days ago. You're like,
yeah, exactly. I know, yeah, exactly.
Okay, so sneak peeks into challenge groups you run on Facebook. Whoever signs up gets an invite to your tracker app group that you just keep going. So you started a new one, I'm assuming January 1, and it will go the whole year.
Yep.
Cool. Okay. You run these alone, or do you allow coaches on your team to run them with you? Did you allow them to add challengers in there? This is an interesting question. I asked this in the roundtable yesterday. So that's a group with 5-star and above coaches. And I said, we're talking about ongoing groups this week. Do you host them for your entire downline? Do you allow coaches to coach with you, whatever? And Jessica Bauer, I don't know if you guys know her, but if you do, she said she absolutely does not allow her coaches to add their challengers to her group. Like, she was super like hard, no way. Like, no one will, pretty much, like, people that want to be successful in this business have to take ownership of their business and run it like a business, was her reasoning. And I think that's one of the things that I've done a lot of, like, in the past year, is handhold too much, and it prevents my coaches from stepping out and running their own groups because I'm literally like carrying them along with me. What is your take on that?
So I have coaches in my group, but they're challengers for me. So I feel that's another thing about having a year-long group is it holds me accountable all the time. Because when I was having like 14-day groups, then I would like slide a little bit. So like I can't slide. And if something happens and I get sick, I talk about that. Like, I didn't work out today and this is why. But it keeps me accountable, like I said. So they're in there, but like I think I have 4 of my coaches really in there right now, but this is their place to be a challenger. And I have a couple, like when they first started, that they'll add some family members, like 1 or 2. So someone wanted to join with them right away, and it probably got them to Emerald. And I'm like, sure, just add them in. And then they took them. Like when they start their group, those people went with them. And then I have a couple discount coaches who have some people under them and they're not ready to jump off yet. Like, whatever, you can have them in, but you coach them. Like, I'll do the post and do all of that, but and I will like give them props on their posts. But as far as like in the background, I want you to be talking to them about their goals.
Awesome. Yeah, I like that. Because I have quite a few challengers in my group right now that are coaches that are like kind of MIA, and I'm doing everything, supporting and following up and talking to their challengers, and it's like, wait, this is like backwards.
Mm-hmm.
And it's just kind of not incentivizing it, but giving them permission to completely not care. So, yeah. Okay. Will you share your contract with us after this call?
Sure.
Okay. I figured you would. And then let's see, great thing. And what do you do with brand new coaches if you don't let them? So they join your group as a challenger, and then once they're ready to run their own group, they run their own group?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
And like I said, like if they have a couple people who join them in the beginning and need support, I have them jump in the challenge, but they coach them.
Cool. Okay. All right. So I think that's it so far. So if people don't, they cancel their Shakeology, but they're on BOD, you just keep them in there.
Hey, Caitlin, how do you avoid burnout as a coach? Because one thing I personally like, and I teach my team, is, you need that off time too, like to rejuvenate and be excited about groups. And like, I like a lot of what you're saying, but like instantly I'm like, oh gosh, it would burn me out. Like, how do you personally do that?
I felt that way at first. But now that my groups are going really well, I don't feel that anymore. And it's because I've created that kind of family feel in there. So it doesn't, and because I also keep the content really simple, it just doesn't feel, and I don't know why, it just doesn't feel like a burden anymore to go in and to do it. I also have an assistant who, if I need to, I can say like, this is what I want. Can you just schedule it for me? Can you throw it up there? Because that's the most time consuming part, is like getting the posts up. And if I start to feel behind, like if I didn't schedule them and then it's like 9 o'clock in the morning and I don't have a post up, that's when it starts to feel burdensome to me. So I just have to have it scheduled out really well. Now I will say this, my Fit Fam right now, where I'm just like saying like, post your favorite flower, that doesn't take me a lot of time. And so sometimes I will just do that in the morning, because I sometimes run out of ideas for that. So I'm like, I'm just going to think of something and go on the fly. But really the feedback I'm getting from my challengers is so uplifting that I just really like being in there anyway. Just like when, and maybe it's the trainer, but like just when I taught group fitness classes, like I loved going each week. I loved seeing the same people show up. So yeah, I think it's just the family feel to it.
So you feel like now with this like this reset on your business, you've attracted the people that you really like working with. They're in there, they're committed because they sign that commitment thing each month. Each month you're able to like see what they want out of this group, what they need help with, where they might be struggling. So that kind of takes the pressure off of you as a coach to have that annoying, like nagging coach feeling like, do these people even want to be in here anymore? Is this group boring for them? Like, that's kind of how I felt. Like, okay, if there's 3 people showing up in this ongoing group, like, what do I do? That's a good question. Do you think...
Wait, let me just, so the positive part about having my coaches in as challengers is that I don't totally lose engagement ever. You know, like when you write something and like there's just totally crickets. So I always have at least 4 people who are writing, and they encourage 4 people to write, and they're also really good about being supportive of the other people in the group. So I also think that keeps the energy up.
Cool. Yeah, that makes sense. Okay, so what's your take on, have you done an ongoing group in Facebook? And what's your take on the difference? No, you haven't.
So once we went to the tracker, I pretty much went all tracker. If you guys have done the color code, I am a blue. So Facebook for me was super overwhelming because I couldn't like keep track of the comments or tell if people had checked in or not. You know, so like to be able to go and just quickly look at the list of who's done their shake and their workout for the day is huge. And also like and I guess I could do this on Facebook too, but like I can go really quickly in my wins post for the night and see who checked in and who didn't, and just put like the @ and everybody's name come up, and I can tag everybody right there. So it just helps me follow people a little bit more. It did take time to get people to kind of treat it like Facebook. So I will even say, like I say in my welcome video, like treat this like you would a Facebook group. Don't just do your posts, like make sure you're going through the day. Some of that will be my prizes, like everybody who comments on at least 4 people each day by the end of the week will get a prize, just to like teach them that. And then once people started doing that, everybody started doing that. So it does take, like people aren't trained to use it like Facebook in terms of community, but once you get it rolling, it starts to work.
Okay, this is kind of embarrassing that I didn't know you could mass email all of your challengers from the app. So I really like that. Like if you were to do an ongoing group, you could send out a weekly newsletter to them if they're not someone who did forget to check the app and they kind of dropped off. Like that email could reinvigorate them and remind them like, hey, this week, this person won this, or like kind of like make it a fun, make something in PicMonkey really quick and just shoot it off once a week to your group.
And they love the Sunday shout out. for the leaderboard for worker outers. That's what I call them, the worker outer leaderboard. But because that's the other thing too, like you just have to post like you talk. And that's, I think, and I've spoken to Bethany Rowley about this too, like when we came as in trainers, we were so education focused, like it wasn't very fun. Like we thought it was fun because we're nutrition nerds, but like it wasn't as fun as it should be. So now I just talk like I talk and use emojis and coach in the back.
I love that. Okay, so the only prerequisite to be in your group is to have BOD. Do you find many are drinking Shakeology, or do they have to get a challenge pack to join your group?
So I let people in, even if they just get BOD, because I think it gives me time to educate them. There's a lot of people that I talk to that say, oh, my nutrition's really great. It's just the workouts, but I have 15 pounds to lose. And I'm like, ding, ding, your nutrition is not great. But I'm not going to say that to you. I'm going to educate you during your first challenge group. And if you haven't hit the goals you want, then we're going to talk more about nutrition, and I'm going to suggest Shakeology. Most of my people do sign up with a challenge pack, just because I do a lot of education when I'm forming them on nutrition in the first place. I have them tell me about like what they have eaten in a typical day, so I can get an idea of their food groups, because a lot of people just don't eat the right amounts of the right food groups. So I can say to them like, hey, I think you're doing a great job. Or a lot of times I'll say like, oh, I love talking to someone who cares about nutrition as much as I do, because it gives them like a little boost. Like the people who are drinking organic protein shakes or whatever, which I get a lot too. So it gives give them a little prop because they're trying, and then I give them the education piece. Most people, because to add on Shakeology is not that much more. I can say just try it for a month, bottom of the bag guarantee. So I do have most people. I do have 2 people in my 80-day obsession group. One is on isogenics and one is on Asana shakes. And so I had them get Performance Line. And I said, please post your shake recipe, but do not say what it is. That's fine. And what I would really, and both of those girls, I did that because they had 2 months already at home and they've spent money on it. And my purpose is not just to sell people stuff if they have stuff, even though I think Shakeology is obviously better. So I said, after 2 months, I would like you to try Shakeology for a month, and then we can do a comparison of how you feel.
Okay, so I know that's going to throw up red flags. People are going to be like, what? Okay, I'm going to go tell this person who's drinking Arbonne or whatever that they can join my groups.
No.
I think you definitely,
You have to be really careful. So those are 2 of my best friends who I did that for. And it's just like some of the other people who you may let in who drop off Shakeology and decide to get, I don't know, protein from Costco or whatever they do. It just you have to be confident in what you're saying. And so to them, I showed them the nutrition back to back, why I don't think that that's better. But they've already spent the money on it, so you have to know who you're saying it to as well. I know these girls care. And then when I'm talking to them about nutrition, I can say one of them, the isogenic shake has so many calories. I was like, we're really going to have to watch your containers. And some of them have potato fillers and all. So I can educate them too as to why they're having some symptoms they may be having while they're drinking it. For me, because I have a nutrition background, it's just an education opportunity for me too. So.
Nice. Do you find the turnover from people who maybe just join with BOD or, whatever, do you find that they end up switching to Shakeology and being all in most of the time?
I do. So I do have some people on BOD who are on there because they can't drink Shakeology. I have some people who have had severe GI issues with it. So those people don't, but then I usually get them onto Performance Line. And I would say too, now I think the other thing that's really great with ongoing groups, now that Beachbody is now going to have some kind of purchase opportunity with all of the programs, it makes it a lot easier, because that was my thing. If they weren't on Shakeology and they were in my group for a year, it's hard to, get any kind of coaching money from them. So it's really, almost all of my challengers bought the accessory bundle. So I have some new, but I have 20 people in my 80-day obsession group, and then I have 15 in my fit family. So that gave me a place to put both of them. But also, like, there's always an opportunity to purchase and grow. And once they learn to trust you, that's another thing. Like, once they learn, when you're just the first person they've talked to and they're like, well, I already have Isogenics, like, why are they going to believe you? Because whoever sold them that said it was also the best thing on the planet. So you have to build that, like, coaching trust relationship sometimes to get them to make the switch.
Okay, so when you were saying that, have you ever done like a group, let's say like your 80-day obsession, and then graduated them to your fit group, or like consider doing something like that?
Yeah, so all of my 80-day people, I signed up with them saying, you're going to do this for 80 days, and then I'm putting you in my fit fam. So, like, they just all know that's the next step over.
Okay, so they graduate. So Mindy asked, or no, somebody else asked, you find that your new challengers feel like kind of intimidated or uncomfortable, but if you did like that graduation step and did one group with them and then graduated them to the year-long group on that next Monday after their, let's say they end on a Friday, that would kind of take that away.
Yeah. If someone joins like mid-month on a Monday, I'll do a welcome post because there's already momentum built. And then I'm just like, hey, let's just kind of like we do with new coaches. And then everybody is super inviting. So people don't really get intimidated. It's just not a scary atmosphere. And then that first Monday of the month, there's so many new people and it's a new theme that everyone is starting new, even if they've been working out with me for a while. So
cool. All right. That's all the questions so far.
Okay. So let's see. So how do I market this? Because it's a little bit different. I post throughout the month about whatever program I'm doing. I don't always call out, I am right now, just because it's 80-day obsession and everybody on the planet has heard about it. But I don't talk Beachbody very often. And then like 2 weeks prior to the start date, I start doing some more intense posting about joining the Fit Fam, becoming part of the Fit Fam. But I'm always talking about my crew. I do 2 newsletters a month to my customers and my email lists that talk about whatever the next theme is going to be. And, you know, if there's new sales or opportunities in there. And then I send out at least 5 invites a day, which is a scary thing, but I do it. I also do what Julianne does. And so I teach my team this too. Like we all message people on their birthdays. Cause that is an like initial conversation that isn't scary or salesy or anything. And almost everybody writes back when you wish them happy birthday. So it just is a good way to get a conversation started, but you have to go in not having expectations that it's going to lead anywhere. You just have to really be wishing people happy birthday. Let me see down here. Okay. My main focus is support. I talk a lot about pain points. And I'm notorious for saying, like, I got tired of eating goldfish and the crumbs off of peanut butter and jelly sandwiches. Like, that's where I was with my nutrition because I wasn't thinking about myself and I was so tired that was like my diet. Talk about the importance of self-care. And then we can also, because they're moms, bring it back to talking about family health. And women, for the most part, love to be caretakers. And so once we are talking about this, we can talk about being beacons for other people, like all these other moms who are stuck at home. Okay, so here's my honest moment. I had never done a program start to finish until I was in the Quarter Force test group. And I had been a coach for 2 years. And that was part of not having come in as a challenger, I think, myself. And so that's when I started learning like the importance of the group and the dynamics. I thought that being a fit pro was an excuse for not doing the programs because I was like teaching classes or training with people. But I was really missing the boat on that. Like, even if, say, you're someone who likes to go to spin or whatever, there's always something you can be talking about that's Beachbody related during the day, whether it's yoga retreat or your nutrition. When To Be Mindset comes out, that'll be a great thing that we can talk about. If you're doing the Ultimate Reset, like there's always something you can be talking about. And here's the other thing. People, if you're a coach, people expect you to be able to complete a program. So if they don't see you doing it, they're not going to think they can do it. Like if you're the person that they see who should be able to accomplish it and you're not showing that it's doable, then they don't think it's doable for them. So that's why even as a trainer, I am always showing a workout or a stretch or a something from the program, and I am always showing some kind of transformation. I don't always do weight. I talk a lot about confidence. But if people don't see you change, then they won't think that they can change. And then your coaches also follow your example. So if you're not doing programs, they're not doing programs. Just kind of how that goes. Let's see. Oh, okay. So how to share effectively to get people to join in like a fit fam. So everyone and their mother is showing workout pics, right? So there's like sweaty selfies. You have got to, and Julianne did a post about this, you have got to change your angles. You can't always be like this every time. And you have to not be afraid to get silly. Like today I was on the floor upside down and took a post. Like I make silly faces. If I'm tired, I'm tired. If I have mascara running down my face, I show mascara running down my face. Like you just have to show something different, something that they're going to relate to. And they don't want the details. That was what I was bad about in the beginning too. Like they don't care exactly what they're going to get as long as they understand that it's a value and that it's going to change their life or solve whatever problem that you have come to with their pain points. And then you just, in your post, emphasize your strengths as a coach. Like, what is it that makes your coaching different? What is it that you're offering them by joining this year-long boot camp, essentially? What makes this different from all the other 80-day obsession posts that they saw and people pointing at their rear ends and all of that? Like, what sets you apart? And then here's the other thing that I talk a lot with my team about. You don't have, now I take advantage of most launches. Like 80-day obsession is huge. That being said, and I would say like, if it fits you, you have to take advantage. Like, but there are some launches that I didn't do a huge thing about, like UV2, I did not do a huge thing about because it has to fit you and it has to fit your avatar or else it's going to seem weird. Like if they've seen you be doing these hard things all the time and you're like, and now I'm just going to dance. Like, especially if you've been like talking about disliking dancing, it doesn't make sense. That being said, like if it's something that's going to push you, like I am not a cardio person unless it's boxing. So to do like Insanity Max 30 is hard for me. Shift Shop, I did a little private group with Chris Downing over December and I did it, but I love him and I love feeling good and being in shape, but I didn't love the workouts because I just don't do well doing burpees and agility running and all of that stuff. But I could talk about that, like pushing yourself past the struggles. So find what fits you and post about that, and find what pushes you that you don't hate and post about that. Like I didn't really do country heat. So don't be so busy promoting everything that Beachbody does that you lose track of like what your mission is and who you're trying to help, if that makes sense.
Yeah, and another thing with launches too, like you can relaunch 21 Day Fix and talk it up like it's a brand new program because someone may not have heard about it before, or maybe you're running a really fun group and you like don't have to wait for corporate to come up with a new program to do your own launch group, because to you it might be your first 21 Day Fix group or your first Insanity Max 30 or Shift Shop or whatever. So create your own excitement built up around programs.
Yeah, and like I will probably do another 80-day obsession group when this 80-day ends. So you can because that group is really fun for me right now. If it feels burdensome, then I might not. But, you know, like you can, like she said, you can take it and switch it and pick it. And for me, it's nice to actually have a program focus right now because my other one, I have people hybriding stuff and I have people doing core to force. So it's nice to just have a focus and sweat with them.
Cool. Any other questions for Caitlin? That was awesome.
Thanks. Let's see.
I think too, like I saw this quote yesterday and I shared it on the Diamond Zoom this morning when Danny was talking, but it said when everyone else was thinking about if the glass was half full or half empty, I sold the glass.
Yeah.
And I love that because it's like, I see so many people overthinking every little logistical thing that they can about every post, every group, every message that they send. Like, stop doing that because there's somebody else that's going to sell the glass. Like, just tell them exactly how you would tell it to your best friend or someone on this team. Like, we're all here for a reason. We're all here because we believe in this and it changed our lives in some way, shape, or form. You should be super proud and excited to talk to people and invite people to this. So never question what you're doing. And if it feels right to you, just go for it. You can always change it. If you're running a group and it sucks, like, ask for opinions, ask for help, and then change it. It's not the end of the world. Nobody else knows besides you. And like, we overthink this stuff, nobody else does. So this was awesome. Thank you so much. I made a graphic with all the notes. I'll share it in Team Rockstar Fit, and I will post this recording later. Mindy just asked a quick question. Let me put this in here. But do you have people check in with a win every single day?
I do. That's their nighttime post. And then it was important to me to add the intent in, because I want them to make it more than just a workout and a shake. Like, what were you trying to do today? What did you have to push past today? So I want them to focus on that every day.
Yeah, it's more than fitness and nutrition. Cool. I love it. All right. Thank you so much. Thanks, everybody, for hopping on. I'll share the stuff in Team Rockstar Fit. All right. See ya.
Bye.